continue with the summary then?
Well, I'll continue. I finished on the note that Colin Kinnear would have to take a long, hard look at a couple of his players who haven't stood up to the pressure. I'll repeat that. I'll ignore what Gary Bryce said about the umpires, because I think what inconsistency there has been in the umpiring has been equally distributed between or over the two teams. I think to this stage of the journey, Port Melbourne have played the better football and deserved their lead, although Coburg are pressing them very closely.
Ted Henrys.
Well, Phil, I think today has proved one thing to me so far, is that both these teams have the best back lines in the VFA. Both teams have defended very well right up until half-time, and Port Melbourne surprised me that quarter. It hasn't been that strong all year, but it certainly withheld those attacks from Coburg, and Coburg could only manage 3 goals, which is the amount that they kicked in the first quarter, kicking against the Breeze. Phil, this is building up to a tremendous finish, this game. No one could forecast what the result will be, but one thing is for sure, Coburg's smaller men, if Coburg are going to win the game, they're the players that will do it for them.
I think where the problem was with Port Melbourne was their inaccuracy in front of goal. They had 8 shots to Coburg 6, and Coburg kicked 3-3, and Port Melbourne 1 goal 7. So that gives an indication of the inaccuracy that they had, and one of the players paying the penalty was Fred Cook, with the pressure of trying to kick his 100th goal. Incidentally, we've had Dermott off the ground for 7.5 minutes, so he has another 7.5 minutes to go to stay off the ground when play resumes after this half-time interval. And last time it happened was against the Coburg side, when Evans was sent off the ground by the umpire. But a vital stage of the game, and we still have Port Melbourne leading by 1 goal. Statistics, Ian.
Port Melbourne kick getters: Wilkinson 9 kicks, Jim Christo a great quarter, 13 kicks, 10 coming from that quarter. Annanson 7, Swan 11 kicks. Coburg kick getters: Saltmarsh strong in defence with 9. Terry Dones played well with 6 kicks and 5 hand passes. Brad Nimmo 9 kicks. Goal kickers for Port Melbourne: 2 each to Cook and Bryce, and 1 each to Jim Christo and Abaya. And for Coburg, 2 to Herbert and 1 each to Albert, Fisher, Burt and Westcombe.
You're speaking up well today, Ian. We have Port Melbourne 6-12-48, leading Coburg 6-6, a total of 42. And Bill Barrett, what's been happening over at Forest Hills, won the magnificent Billy Guyatt Prize. Mrs. E.B. Keith of Rampart Avenue, Glen Waverley, won the Gillette products. And Mr. J.A. Delaney of Baronia Street, South Oakley, won the Coolibah Prize. And they all received a free pass to John Driver Sports Centre for the day. So they're all great prizes indeed, and this week's prize from Billy Guyatt is a Sunbeam crepe maker with controlled heat. It's called a creperi. Anyway, and pick the points. The 60 winners for the season now are all eligible for next week's big final, and you'll receive notification in the mail through the week. And then you're going for this magnificent Commodore Holden from Bayside Holden, and you can get in touch with them on 784400, 784400. We have Coburg coming out onto the ground, just repeating the half-time scores, 6-12 to 6-6 in Port's favour. And we're just waiting on the ground to be cleared, and while doing that, Bill Barrett is over there in the second division, semi-final between Brunswick and Yarraville. What's happening there at the moment, Bill? Well, now Port starting off with 15 men aside. Now, we heard Gary Bryce criticise or say something about the umpire. What's the free kick situation in the match so far, Ian?
Free kicks are very interesting. Port Melbourne 23, Coburg 43.
Whoa. Well, there we are. That's without comment. 43 to 23 in Coburg's favour on free kicks. Anyway, you can always talk about those things, Bill and Ted, because one side might be infringing anyway, constantly.
Well, that's right. There's no doubt about it that you can't get more free kicks, particularly 20 more than the other side, unless you've been infringing more, Phil. But I must say that some of the decisions given by umpire Groom have been a bit doubtful. What do you think, Bill?
I think that some of the decisions have been a bit doubtful. I think that umpire Groom, by and large, has played the man in front.
All right. Comments from Bill Jacobs, Ted Henrys, and we're ready to get underway for the second half. Listen to the crowd. And there we go. And it's Annanson getting the knockout from the ruck, but it comes across towards Terry Don't. He gets it up towards centre half forward. There's Smith tapping it down to Westcombe. Westcombe turned right back into Ward Smith. Smith now shoots the goal. His first shot for the day, and he's put it through for 1 point. Actually second, because before he put it across the face of goals at this northern end of the ground. So that takes now Coburg on to 6-7-43 within 5 points of Port Melbourne, 6-12-48. And there's the kick. Going towards the half-back line. Goes through towards the player in Halbert. He couldn't get away. A pick-up by Wilkinson. The kick is smothered. Halbert comes through, bangs it up towards the forward zone. Bryce traps it again, and Bryce will get it away nicely towards the half-back line. Getting close to the line. Halbert traps it. 3 Port players go in there. Nobody knew who had it. Swan ended up with it, lost possession, and the umpire will come in for a ball out. Tell you what, Port Melbourne breathed a sigh of relief. They got 6.5 minutes before the 16th player is allowed back on the ground. And it's a bounce again from umpire Roy Groom. And taking it as Annenson puts it over his head a bit far. It went towards Evans, who couldn't get away. Tapped out nicely then by Hall. Got it to Goss. Goss in turn up towards the wing. Tapped out here. And racing for home now is Allender. Allender with a bad kick puts it right offline. And it goes through for 1 point only. And that was only Allender's second kick for the match. So that puts Port now exactly 1 goal ahead again. They're 6-13 to Coburg 6 goals 7. Waiting on the kick-off to be taken. And it's Douglas playing it towards the big fellow. But Evans comes in to take the mark. The big fellow I was referring to, of course, is Gary Milroy. But Evans was the player to come in and take the mark for Port Melbourne. So Evans a long way out from goal on the half-forward line. Gets his kick in. It's not a bad roost. It's a beautiful kick. Gets the distance and gets the direction. A goal to Port. Port Melbourne 2 goals up. The umpire calling play on the bounce. A stack of players around. Coming out of it is Swan. Swan puts it straight back towards Peter Hall. Hall up towards the half-forward line. In the back. Red hot. And it'll be Saltmarsh to take the free kick. Saltmarsh, number 16, the former Preston player from centre half back now. And sees the lead out here.
And one of the better players today, Phil.
He's been playing consistent football for Coburg from what we've seen. And coming in here now is Wescombe. Wescombe now sends it towards Smith, and Smith leading out well. Takes his first mark for the day. He needs 8 to get his 100, and I think that'll be beyond him today. I think his 100s will come up in the finals. He's kicked 1 point. He's had 2 shots for goal, and both of them not easy shots. This is the easiest shot he has for the day. 35 metres out from goal, directly in front. So Smith, from this position, going for his 93rd goal for the season. Puts it on its way, and it'll be right through the middle. No doubt about that one. Smith's 93rd.
As it comes out the centre, or out of the centre, Davies. Not a good kick by any stretch of imagination. Johnson trying to thump away. Hasn't done a lot, come to think about it. Down to the ground, and the umpire will bounce. The umpire to bounce on Port Melbourne's half-back line, or Coburg's half-forward line. And at half-time we see that Preston are leading Paran by a matter of 20 points. There's a pretty good bounce. And Port will get it away. Frankston still holding the ascendancy over Caulfield. And on the ground there was Hartigan. Camberwell doing it well against Dandenong. 4-point advantage to Camberwell. Sandringham and Geelong West, a good one with only 8 points the difference. And Port going into attack beautifully here through Swan, who snapped very quickly for goal. But it's out of bounds as he put it through truly.
Well, this is a very interesting.
The boundary umpire will have his, who will hold sway. The boundary umpire will hold sway.
It'll be nullified, that score, for sure.
It amazed me that he didn't chase the field umpire, but it's out of bounds and the score will be cancelled if it was ever registered. And that's where the ball will be thrown in, and there's the sign to nullify the score. And back into play it comes. That's Milroy in the front berth. The leaper was Annenson, and there's a free kick to come out of all of that, or it will go back to the boundary umpire to have it thrown in again. The field umpire quite obviously not satisfied about that throw back into play, is the way I read it. And it's 5 minutes into the third term of this hectic game. And Allender got it down. Wescombe, a busy bee, has ridden into the ground. And Wescombe of Coburg, who's had umpteen free kicks today, I would suggest about 6. And his 8th kick, and he guts it across to Terry Don't. Don't, reading the play beautifully, has delivered the ball across to Douglas, who marks comfortably, and away he goes. Centre wing position, but it's going to be chopped off by Gary Bryce of Port Melbourne, the captain and coach, who drops a short one in and put his teammate in trouble there. And out there is Cook, but he flipped it back to Bryce, and Bryce kicks to the half-forward line. Allender!
A beauty!
Been waiting a long while for that. Allender got up beautifully.
And that could be the Gillette mark of the day to Allender.
Allender playing on quickly across towards centre half forward. Coburg are going to get out of trouble with Cleary wandering around up on the back line and getting it across here in the direction of centre wing for Curran, and delivering the ball up towards Smith, well out from goal, slapping it away to Beattie. Beattie will give it back to Smith. He's in trouble. Tackled. Play on was the call. Beattie out in the direction of Halsell. Halsell did well. He'll have to kick with the left foot and does. But it's over the line. That's the sign. There's a sure sign of the agitation on the part of the spectators. It's 7-13 to 7-7. Port still holding on to that 6-point advantage which they established in the second quarter.
Bill, we should see Dermott coming on within the minute. He's out there. There he is, about to take his dressing gown off, and he'll be happy to come back on.
There's a quick snapshot for goal. And it's a goal to Halbert. And a goal to Coburg to equalise. There it is in the centre. The scores are level. They've been playing 2 quarters and 7 minutes, and they're still locked together as Abaya gets it out of the centre towards the grandstand side of the ground, going up towards Port's half-forward line. Allender handled it out there to O'Reilly. It's come out the back to Douglas, to Nimmo. Nimmo was trapped, but it'll allow Hartigan to come in and defend for Coburg. He does it well, and the tackle was too high as he slipped to the ground. Hartigan gets it to Cleary, and Cleary races to centre wing to give it to Burt. Burt from that position will boot the ball up towards Smith at centre half forward. Only half a grab, not enough to be paid the mark. Players everywhere. Westcombe literally crawling to Beattie into the pocket, and it might be a goal to Coburg. It was Halsell who snapped, and he's going to get the free kick. Quite obviously it was a point, as the umpire in that case. There we see Dermott preparing to come back on the ground after having been ordered off and obviously reported. Otherwise he wouldn't have been ordered off. And here's the free kick to be taken by Coburg and be taken by Halsell. Now his position is about 25 metres out from goal. The umpire is just bringing him around. You saw him move around at probably a 50-degree angle, and from there he will kick towards goal, the river end of the ground, and it looks good, and the goal umpire agrees it's a goal to Coburg.
It only
Right back here at the Port Melbourne ground, Dermott is on the ground, and we have Coburg leading by a goal now. The 9-7 to 7-13. Evans goes for the shot for goal, and he's equalised the score. That was great play from Grant O'Reilly to get it to Evans, and Evans acknowledged it as he came back and gave him a tap on the spot. Okay, Port Melbourne 8-13-61 and Coburg 9-7, also a total of 61, and what a great game. Again, we say that down here at the Borough. 10.5 minutes into play in the third quarter. We await the ball to be returned.
I've never seen as much pressure, when I say never, not this year anyway, Phil, I've seen as much pressure in the game.
Bill Barrett, a quick score from over there at Toorak Park.
Right.
Right, Bill, tap out. It comes down towards Terry Doan. Doan plays it wide of the centre of the ground. Cleary waiting for the ball to come down to him, but it comes back here towards Jimmy Christo. Christo downfield. There's Allender gaining possession. He swings around, left foots it up towards the forward zone. Fred Cook coming in from behind, takes 2 bites but couldn't get it. It goes wide out towards the back pocket. Evans is the player pursuing the ball. Evans turns around, tried to drag himself free from players who are tackling. Goss passes it. It comes back here towards the little fella Abaya. Abaya gets flattened, and he gets the free. Had to happen. He's kicked 1 goal so far. I reckon if he took a swing at a player, he'd hit him in the kneecap as Abaya gets ready now to move in towards goal. This could put Port up in front. It's on its way. It's right through the middle. A goal to Port. They're 1 goal up.
It's Smith, and the margin is just 1 straight goal. Port Melbourne 9-13-67, Coburg 9-7-61. There's the bounce back in the centre of the ground. It's Annanson who gets the ball out. Players moving in, trying to get the ball as don't. He handballs over his head to Helbert. Helbert goes to handball one way, decides to get his kick into the centre half forward position, into the scoring zone, giving Dermott the chance for Port Melbourne, but he's brought to the ground, pushed in the back, and the umpire will give him the kick. Port Melbourne defending. There's his kick now across to the centre of the ground where he gets a lead, and it's Hall almost into the, centre half back, centre of the ground. There's his big kick now, down to the scoring zone for Port Melbourne. Going up high is Allender. He thumps the ball over the back, gives the chance to Abaya. Abaya can't get the run of the ball. Now he has. There's his kick off the side of his foot. Picked up by Coburg. They're defending desperately now. Kicks it up, and it's Allender playing much better now. Allender concentrating on his game, and he's certainly improved. And they'll need Allender in form. 4 kicks so far this quarter. There's his kick now, going towards the big sticks. Umpire moves across, and he puts up 2 fingers, and it's a goal to Port Melbourne and Allender. There's 2 goals in favour of Port Melbourne, 10-13-73 to Coburg, 9-7-61 from the centre of the ground. Coming out is Herbert with the ball. He's going to be caught, though, and the umpire, play on, says no. Now he's given a kick. A little bit belated there, though. Herbert has a bit of a smack and then decides to play on up to centre half forward. Going out as Smith. He should have taken that mark. Play on, says the umpire. The big man, Ananson, picks it up. Down to the scoring zone for Port Melbourne. Players going in hard now. Coming out as Don't. He can't get possession. Oh! Well, he certainly stopped him. And Ted just said to me it wasn't as bad as that, but I wonder if...
I was only repeating what Bill said, Rob.
Just wondering whether Terry Don't, what he'd have to say about that.
You should be like the fellow who goes on a diet, Ted, and keep your mouth shut.
Bill made the comment the side of my head. It didn't look as bad as it he made out to be, and I did think the same thing, but obviously he got a pretty swift hit across the face then.
Rob, you have heard commentaries before, but have you ever heard the words passing the buck?
Yes, many times, Phil. And have a look at that eye. Oh, yes. Yes, there's no doubt about that. He's certainly receiving some attention there after receiving some attention earlier. So it's Port Melbourne 10-13-73, Coburg 9-7-61, and he is going straight off. So he must have been very hurt. That's Terry Don't. Well, now it's Hall with the ball for Port Melbourne. He's going for the big kick, taking advantage of the breeze. Players set themselves to the mark. No one gets it. Down on the ground, coming through, trying to pick the ball up is Goss. But coming through in the front position is Helbert, and the umpire will give Helbert the kick. On the wing position at the other side of the ground, coming down now, and players Hall in front, but from Beattie, but coming through is Burt. Burt kicks the ball across, giving Smith the opportunity if he's quick enough, but it's O'Neill who takes the front berth. He decides to punch the ball, giving Helbert the chance to come in. Helbert comes in, has a little bit of a look, he's one way, then he goes the other, sees his teammate in there in Cleary, but eludes Cleary. Coming through, and it's Dermott who is back on the ground. He's content to handball over the line and out of bounds. Umpire now in the forward pocket position for Coburg. The big men do battle. It's Anderson who gets the ball over, giving the opportunity to Goss. Goss picks it up. A good play there. Kicks the ball very high into the centre of the ground. Players going up one-handed. That's not the way to play football. O'Reilly comes out. He won't muck around with it. Kicks the ball high. Gives the opportunity for Fred Cook. Fred Cook takes the front berth. The ball's not